I'm Elaine, and there's Karyn wearing the white scarf, and we are Patterson Prentice Designs, and we are a partnership dedicated to designing and hosting creative and reflective spaces for people, practitioners, coaches and supervisors and OD facilitators and leaders as well, for insight and learning in ways which are hopefully going to surprise and delight you, in ways which are fun and joyful, because I just want to reiterate it. Reflection and reflective practice is the gift that keeps on giving, and so we want to share some of our enthusiasm with you today. Thank you so very much for joining us. It's a huge honour to be with you, and we are really aware that you are already so very skilled and so very experienced. And so we're here to offer a new lens, to share a lens, to further support and deepen your practice, for you to work with it in ways that work for you, and for you to take it into your client work or into your teams and organisations in ways that work for you. We also think it might help to remind you what you already aware of but might have forgotten, and know and could use even more. We're calling it Our Humanity at Work because this is all about who we are being as we work and who we are becoming. And so today we're going to give you a lovely experience walking through the petals, so that you can have a full experience of them, from the balcony and from the dance floor or the patio, and you can work on your own issue and question as we go through. But first, some contracting.
Yes, just a few little things just to really underscore this space is precious. I mean, I can see there's 172 people here today, which is extraordinary, and congratulations, Adam, Catherine, and Nicola. And also it speaks to the importance of coming together as a community. So just some light contracting for this space. And please, if there's something that you feel needs to be in there, for you to work well in the space as we reflect together. We believe that we invite you to come with and leave with goodwill, that's the basis of the best way to be together. That this space will be experimental and experiential. And so it gives you a chance to reflect and to deep dive and be immersive in your process. And that this is a space and time for you and you as a practitioner. And we invite you in, there will be breakout spaces later, but we invite you to share only what you're comfortable with. And we're going to invite you to share process, not content. So the content remains entirely your own. But be aware of your reactions, to notice when perhaps one petal feels easier, one draws upon a different energy in you, and just be alongside of your own responses there. Everything is data. And this is a big volunteer on our part, because we haven't checked this with Nicola, but if you volunteer and say something in the sharing part and you definitely want that taken out, I believe that is possible to edit out something so that it's not shared beyond this space. So as Elaine said, the design for today is positioning and trying out for yourself. So we believe if you have a go with something yourself, it's easier to think about how that might be if you're helping your clients reflect on themselves. And we'll do that with this creative approach together now, and then also towards the end, some time in smaller spaces. So is there anything else that anyone feels they need to have very briefly before we may begin?
Thank you. So here is the invitation to us all, from John Nesbitt, which sort of captures what Our Humanity at Work is about here. He writes, "The most exciting breakthroughs in the 21st century will not occur because of technology, but because of an expanding concept of what it means to be human. But because of an expanding concept of what it means to be human." So leave that provocation with you as we then move on to explore what's the invitation here behind Our Humanity at Work. So It's really around getting behind and beyond the competencies, the capacities, the models that are out there. And they are really, really important. Beautiful stuff has been written that we're all referring to. And also, there is this added dimension around our own humanity and our shared humanity. Who are we being as we work? The problems of today, as we all know, as Albert Einstein said, will not be solved by the consciousness that created them. So we need to be bringing in different aspects, different ways of exploring and opening up perspectives that can actually move us very radically forward. The qualities here that we're going to share are all heart-based. And the good news is that we all have them. We've already got them because we are all human. And the heart in the middle is around the choice that we have, and the choice that our clients would have in terms of how we bring them into practice, how we bring them into our lives. And we believe that we're working from the inside out as practitioners to make our shared humanity and our vulnerability and all that it means to be human center stage, so that we can role model this for others.
And the simplicity actually belies the profundity. These are headings that you'll see and believe, yes, I know what they are, but there's something quite deep when we take the time to be reflective and reflexive about how and who we are. The work around this, because we all have these as part of ourselves as humans, so do our clients. And how can they also, in their work and what they do, how can they connect to that as well as a resource? Because it asks, who are we being as we work? And this work that Elaine has written some years ago, and which we've been developing since then, is now translated into French and Portuguese. It will soon be in Italian and Japanese, and appears in a book, Developing the Reflective Habit, a Michel Lucas book, and the wonderful book that Anne and Pascal Venner, Jean-François Thierry, Agathe Petal, and myself have been working on supervision de cœur à cœur, supervision from heart to heart. So it's a beautiful resource you can use in many ways.
So over to you now. We'd just like to invite you to ground and center, and just very gently connecting to your heart breath, the heart which is at the center of the petals. And as you settle on your heart breath, just very gently asking your heart the question or the issue that it wants you to work on today using the petals. And it's okay if nothing particularly comes up, just be with whatever's happening for you right now. And you might want to thank your heart and yourself for giving yourself the time and space this morning for you. And then when you're ready, just coming back out of your grounding and on a piece of paper in your journal, just writing what your heart wants you to work on today, your question. It doesn't have to be formed or very clear. Everything is welcome. I hope you have that. And then as we go through this process, you're very welcome to just journal in the normal way, or you might want to draw a 7-petal flower in your journal so that you can write into each of the petals as you come back to your own reflections. The choice is entirely yours. And this on the screen now is a self-assessment template that you will be getting after the webinar that you can use in your own practice. But you might also, as you go through our journey together, you might want to just score yourself around how much you're living into each of these for the question. It's entirely up to you. So just adapt this and flow with what's working for you.
Nicholas just put the link of the worksheet in the chat.
Thank you. Thank you. So what we'll do now is Karyn and I will visit each petal with you. As we go through, we'll hope you'll notice that each one has a different note and a different energy and a different feel. So please go with the flow and go with the mood of each of the different petals, and be open to what comes up for you. Invitation to be patient with your own process, and our process will be with you is we'll introduce just a couple of headlines around each of the petals. We'll then have a creative practice for you to sort of deep dive, and then you'll have a moment to journal what's come up for you. So with that, we shall start with our first.
So we're going to start somewhere that will be probably familiar to everybody here, because curiosity is a mainstay of a coach. It drives the inquiry, it drives our questioning and our learning, and it keeps us open and receptive, awake and alive to what may be, or what we've not seen before, or what pulls our attention. Oh, I've never noticed that before. So the human brain loves questions and loves deep diving. It keeps us on our edge of learning, and hopefully it keeps us in a place of a beginner's mindset. And as Albert Einstein went also on to say, the important thing is not to stop questioning. Curiosity has its own reason for existence, and one cannot help but be in awe when he or she contemplates the mysteries of eternity, of life, and the marvelous structure of reality. I would add in there, such as it is. So curiosity. So we're going to just show you a series of things now, and we just invite you to really pump up your curiosity muscle to see what you make of, well, first of all, this next slide. So as you look at this, I invite you to think, well, what is this that I'm looking at? What possibly could this be? Some of you may have seen this slide before, but just noticing what your first reaction to what you think you see. And in our work with our clients, we know that sometimes they'll go down one road because that's what they think they see. But if we really use that capacity we have for curiosity, so if we show the next slide, we find out we're often surprised that what we're looking at is actually, there's much more there. And so just as we notice, as we go through, just when we think we've got it nailed and we know what we're looking at, bravo, it changes. And if we stay with it long enough, it changes again and again, and again. Oh my, and again. And now we're seeing something that we had not been possible to imagine before, because we're curious. So what is this? And it changes again and again. Oh my, and again. Oh, as we get farther and farther into the galaxy of ideas, and it changes again. And I think we have one more again. Voila. Who knew? Who knew? Until we start to get really curious. So, thinking about the question that your heart offered you this morning, and pick one of these. You don't have to answer more than one, and there may be a question that will arise in you that isn't even written here. So thinking about your curiosity and your practice, what are you curious about your own practice? What could you notice if you paid a little bit more attention in this mode of operation of curiosity? Or when was the last time you were truly, truly surprised or discovered something new? Or do you have any blind spots or blocks around curiosity? What might be emerging for you if you spend time thinking about curiosity and your practice? And you might decide you want to look at the question, who could give you some honest feedback about the quality and depth of your curiosity? So we're going to not do question number 6, but pick one of those or something that arrives around that topic of curiosity in your practice, and take 3 minutes just to make some notes in your journal. Just free writing, without editing, just let your pen flow. Curiosity in your practice as a coach or supervisor. We'll have about 30 seconds writing time left. And just finishing off wherever you are in your writing. And looking back over what you've just written, and maybe with another color pen, circling the word that stands out in what you've just written. Perhaps there's a word that just goes, must circle me. So just have a scan over what you've just written and choose your word, your standout word. And when you've done that, take your flower petal if you choose to. It says self-assessment on it. Find the petal that says curiosity. And on a scale of 0 to 10, right now, this morning, Monday the 22nd, not in the whole world forever, but right now, in thinking about your, reflecting on your practice and the capacity of being curious in your practice, 0 to 10, where are you? And just make a mark on that petal. 2, 4, 7, 9, right in the moment. Don't think too much about it. Just go for what arrives, what your heart says. You're here right now, today.
I'll just ring the bell. As we move to our second petal, which has a different feel to it, and you're welcome to again develop your own definitions here, but we're seeing care and caring as at the heart of our being and at the heart of our humanity. What and who and how we care about defines who we are being and how we show up. And when we're aligned to what we care about, we're able to express that through our deeper purpose, meaning, and integrity in action and our ethics. So caring is our values and our integrity and the essence and core of who we are in action. And it sets a compass for us for authentic and ethical practice. This is a huge subject, but it's actually looking at caring, which includes passion, but passion often cannot be sustained in the long term. So what we're offering here is leadership and professional practice, offers Ken Cashman, is not simply something we do. It comes from somewhere deep inside of us, and it is a process, an intimate expression of who we are. It is our being in action. So to help you explore the care aspect of the question you're working on, inviting you just to draw a rough sketch of a body, because we're going to take you through an embodiment practice. And it doesn't matter what it looks like. It's to help you with your note taking. And if you'd like, invite you to stand up and as we explore care and you and your question. So with standing up, giving your body a nice stretch, a bit of movement, grounding and centering yourself and placing your hands on your stomach, on your gut. And with a deep breath, just asking your gut, your intuition, what it wants you to know about the question you're looking at today. It's a very gentle inquiry, nothing to be forced. And just 15 seconds left here as you thank your gut and just pop a note in your figure or in your journal around what came up for you there. Then just releasing your hands and moving again. Putting your hands on your heart, chest area, grounding and centering, and just very gently asking your heart what it wants you to know about why it cares for this question you're exploring. Nothing to be forced. And then very gently thanking your heart, writing its message for you against your figure or in your journal. And then coming back, centering yourself and stretching your arms up and out, or in a prayer position, whatever your soul or spirit means for you as you express it in your body. And again, centering and grounding yourself as you ask your soul about what it wants you to know about caring for the subject you're looking at. What does it care? Why? And then thanking your soul, just popping down on your paper, whatever message or intuition or whisper was there for you. Or it might be a very loud shout, whatever it was for you. And then just coming back one last time and putting your hand on your head and grounding and centering and just asking your head what it wants you to know about this care you have. And then thanking your head. And just popping back down to your piece of paper and your figure. What came to you? And then any roundup as you come back to your seat, any roundup that you want here. As you look at what you've written and possibly taking a different coloured pen, circling the key standout word for you. And if you would like to do your self-assessment on a scale of 0 to 10, how careful are you with your question? Thank you.
And so our energy changes again as we go to our next petal, courage, from the French word, as many of you know, cœur, meaning heart. And we use this word a lot, don't we? Heartfelt, full-hearted, wholehearted, losing heart. So courage comes from the intelligence of the heart, where we've just been visiting in the last petal. What we need to know about to be brave, to be bold, to be fearless for wise action. It helps us to move forward or to manage the present when we can't move forward, whilst also being aware of and caring for our vulnerabilities, the risks that are there for us, and being able to withstand that in what way we need to. And it also allows us, enables us, gives us the energy to test and to experiment. As Coco Chanel, the most courageous act is still to think for yourself. So our question practice here for you is to think about if you had just 5% more of a quality right here, right now, today, that would inform your practice, grow your capacity as a coach, or in any other capacity. What 5% more would you have right now? And right within you. Would you have 5% more excitement, 5% more serenity, grace, resilience, joy? And how might that show up in your practice? And so we invite you to make a note here, just a few minutes journaling. If I had 5% more of, fill in the blank, doesn't have to be one of these words, can be a word that arrives of its own volition. If I had 5% more of that in my practice as a coach, I would. A couple of minutes writing what arrives quite spontaneously. Choose wisely. We've got about 3 minutes to write here. If I had 5% more of, I would. Elaine, could you pop the last slide on? Thank you. Well, I guess we can move forward then back to our. What are you called to do with this 5% more? And just finishing off where you are now, about 30 seconds of writing time left. And then looking back over your writing, and what's the standout word here? What's the word that jumps out? And whatever it is, perhaps in another color, circle it. And then if you wish to, on the self-assessment scale, looking for the petal of courage, on a scale of 0 to 10, how courageous are you with the question you've asked yourself, that your heart has asked you? How courageous, 0 to 10, and just make a mark in that petal.
Thank you, Karyn. So now we're moving on to a different energy, which we've called connection. And as you know, connection enables us to see the underlying interrelatedness and interconnectedness of all of life, and also past, present, and future. It's the capacity to appreciate and value and work wisely with the intimate interconnections of all living things and non-living things across all the different dimensions of past, present, and future. This connection gives us a much more expansive spaciousness within ourselves. It gives us a much bigger perspective, a sense of belonging in the world, a rootedness to the world and the work that we do, and an awareness of how our actions can affect ourselves and others and the planet. And you're all probably familiar with Albert Einstein's quote here. And he said, a human being is part of the whole. He or she experiences him or herself, thoughts and feelings as something separated from the rest, as isolated from the rest. This delusion is a kind of prison for us, and our task must be to free ourselves. A delusion is a kind of prison for us. So just want to invite you into a visualization practice, just to connect with the roots here before we do a bit of writing. So again, an invitation to stand up if you would like, and just to move and breathe and stretch a bit as we just go into a short visualization. So grounding and centering yourself and finding your comfortable space and spot, connecting with your breath. And very gently, when you're ready, just moving your awareness to your feet. Your feet on the ground. And feel that sense of belonging and being held. The ground beneath us and the sky above, the golden thread of connection. And then just imagining from the soles of your feet, roots are growing out from your feet into the soil, into the earth. And as you breathe into your roots, they're growing and stretching and expanding and holding you in this place of belonging. It's connecting you with your friends, your family, your clients, your network, with all of us on this call today. Connecting us to the past, and the present and the future as well. And just feel those roots, enjoying all of those connections, reaching out and stretching. And connecting with the planet, people, life, nature. And then when you're ready, coming back up through your body to your breath. And coming back to your seat. And just using that experience of rootedness to do some free writing on the theme of connection and relating that to the question that you're working with today. And any of these questions might work for you or not. Choose your own, or choose your own embodied experience. When did you last feel a deep connection? How does this link? What did this connection feel like? What happened? What happened for you right now? What do you need to connect or reconnect to right now in service of your question? And about 2.5 minutes writing. And just starting to come to an end of what you're writing, very gently finishing off where you are. And then with a different coloured pen, looking over your writing, choose a standout word. Choose one that you're instinctively drawn to, that is wanting to connect with you, using the theme of connection, that wants to bond with you. And then if you would like to do the self-assessment from a scale of 0 to 10, how connected are you to the issue that you're exploring?
And so we maybe stretch again because we got different energy this time, which is around creativity. And it's the C that started Elaine in her inquiry with this process in her master's degree, that it is in us. We are born creative. And it's our capacity to reshape the old, create or recreate anew. It's our capacity to allow space to trust emergence, to trust our intuition as an intelligence and a companion, and part of our inner wisdom to give us potential, to give us possibilities. And it's about looking back and honoring the past, but also breaking with some of the habitual ways that we see things, the ways of being, the way we relate, to turn things, if you like, on their head or let go of them completely. As George Lewis said, creativity can solve any problem. The creative act, the defeat of habit by originality, overcomes everything. So we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to invite you to take a blank piece of paper, and we're going to invite the inner child here. This is an exercise that we will say is impossible to get wrong. It is impossible to get wrong. And to take a felt tip pen, a thick one maybe, any color, and on your piece of paper to make a scribble. Very quick, don't think about it. So there's mine. That's as advanced as you need to be. This is a 5-year-old is probably too advanced. Go for 4, maybe 3. A squiggle. And now, everybody got one of those? Yeah. And turn it upside down and make a face. Make a face from the picture you've got there and use another color and turn your squiggle into a face. I'm going to do it myself right now. You have 30 seconds. Just 10 seconds more. Possible to get this wrong. And if you so wish and are brave and don't mind, we're going to invite you to hold it up. Let us, Elaine, can we just stop the thing so we can, hey! Yeah, who knew? Wow, look at that. Golly. Yeah, didn't expect to do this morning, did you? Yeah, great, fantastic, wonderful. Thank you. So our ability there to turn out and do something unexpected is part of this. So thinking about your own creativity, what inspires you to be creative, to try new things? Or What might the seeds be there for you to grab a hold of to be more creative, to trust your creativity, to play more? How could you be more playful with the question you've asked yourself today? What permission to be more playful could you give yourself? A couple of minutes now just to gather your thoughts in a little bit of pre-writing journaling, a question perhaps that arises for you about your creativity right here, right now. Thank you. Then you have about 30 seconds of writing time left. And just finishing off where you are. And looking back over the quick note you've taken and circle the word with another color pen that stands out for you. And on your petal, make a mark for creativity. Where are you right now on a scale of 1 to 10?
Sorry, Karyn, creativity deserves a drum beat. Drum roll. Oh dear. So we're now moving on to compassion. You might want a stretch because again, it's a very different energy and tone and feel. Compassion is so easy to talk about, but very, very hard to extend to ourselves. So compassion is the capacity to connect to yourself, to others, and to our shared humanity with acceptance, with loving kindness, with non-judgmental approach, to embrace, to meet people in their own humanity as you, soul to soul, heart to heart. It's the capacity to be with, to connect to the feelings of others, whilst also, this is really important, staying centered and connected to yourself. It's the capacity to embrace what it is to mean to be fully human, with our vulnerabilities, our joys, our sadnesses, and absolutely everything in between. And self-compassion is the gift that we extend to ourselves. John Donne said, "No man or woman or person is an island." So for this practice, just inviting you to gently write for a couple of minutes around how might you need to extend your compassion to others in the question that you're working on, and or how might you need to extend self-compassion to yourself, and how accepting of you are others and your own vulnerabilities, and how does this show up? Sometimes when we're really tired, we can find it difficult. How and who and what do you judge? I'll just leave you with some free writing. Write as fast as you can. Don't edit. Write from the heart. And 30 seconds left. And just gently finishing off where you are. Wherever you are is fine, and taking a different coloured pen, circling a standout word from your writing on compassion, and circling it, the word that wants to journey with you. And then if you are doing the self-assessment, just asking yourself how compassionate and or self-compassionate you are with the question you're working on.
So for this last petal, contemplation, our capacity to turn away from endless day-to-day busyness, to just be with ourselves, to hear ourselves think and to feel, and to be fully and mindfully present in the moment, to pay attention to perhaps what may be our quieter side, but a wise voice, a heart-based, soulful intelligence. As Parker Palmer writes, the soul is like a wild animal, whilst tough, resilient, and resourceful, savvy and self-sufficient, it is also shy and will only come out when it's safe to do so. So we invite you to put your feet on the floor and just take a moment to close your eyes and to imagine yourself as this rose, as we've come to the full circle of petals on this rose, and to be aware of your in and out breath, and to go to that quiet place in yourself, the place where your wisdom resides and has always done so, where your heart sings, and just give yourself a moment to find that place in yourself that is the inner sanctuary, and to just listen, and to bring your attention back like this rose in its full beauty to a still space in yourself. And in that still space, to ask yourself what it most needs in you, this soulful, sanctuary, silent space in you. What does it need from you? And taking up your pen, this for the last time now, just going to make some notes of what is there. Do you create time and space to listen to this voice? How well do you do that? And what do you need to take forward? Just 2 minutes. And just finishing off wherever you are in your writing. And as before, looking back over what you've written and circling the word that most wants to be circled here, perhaps in another color ink. And if you wish to do the self-assessment, you can mark 0 to 10 on the petal of contemplation. How well do you give yourself that quiet time about you and your practice?
Thank you for journeying with us. You will now have collected up 7 circled words from each of your visiting each of the petals. And now we would like you just make a list of your 7 words and to choose one. To choose the one that's absolutely at the heart of the heart, at the heart of your heart. And use that word, weaving in the other words if you like, where you now are. With your question, with your practice, you might even want to get up onto the balcony. But just writing a short piece about where you are now. And we would like to give you about 2.5 minutes for that before we go into the breakout rooms. There's 30 seconds left. And so just finishing off where you are. You can pick it up again as you continue your reflections or take a walk later. Thank you.
Thank you, Elaine.